So it gives me great pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Lujira Cooper, who, don't you trip me up, young lady. So Lujira is a great friend, actually, and I really appreciate this opportunity to introduce you today and to read a little of your bio. I'll just read some of it and quick. It's in the program too. So she's an African American, a lesbian activist. She lives on the Upper West Side in Manhattan. Lucky you. Just around the corner from Zabar's. Wish I were there. She's an advocate for LGBTQ persons of all ages. She facilitates a writing workshop at SAGE, which is a center for older LGBTQ people. She was a speaker at the opening ceremony for the World Pride in 2019. She's been featured in 2 photography books, Grace Bonan's Collective Wisdom and The Watermarks Not Another Second. She is a wonderful writer. Lujira is simply committed to her writing morning, noon, and night. She has one published book called Theft of Trust, and she's working on currently on another one, and the second in the Theft series. And there are 2 important turns in Lujira's life. One, in 2016, she returned to school, and by 2020, she had a BA and an MA in English and creative writing. And then she went on for a BS in criminal justice. She gave a presentation in 2022 to the Gerontological Society of America. Thank you, that one. And on creativity to ease tortured LBQ seniors, the importance of, as they say, creativity and love. Welcome, my dear Lujira. Come up and tell us. Preach the good story.
I never heard of it. Who is she?
Da-da-da-da.
Oh, by the way, can somebody take some pictures and send them to me? I need them for my website. This presentation will not only highlight attacks against the LGBTQ community. Many groups are, I gotta pick this up. Many groups are under assault, which directly results from Project 2025. We remember that. These strikes are intended to divide us, which is unethical because it denies the humanity and dignity of people. Currently, in this past year, or in the last 4 or 5 months, Kansas passed the license law, which immediately invalidated trans licenses for thousands of people. This nullification had no grace period. There are laws on some states' books that threaten transgender individuals with felonies and fines up to $1,000 in civil penalties for not using bathrooms consistent with their birth certificate. Kansas Democratic Governor Laura Kelly apologized for this treatment. Unfortunately, when she vetoed the bill, the Republican Senate decided to pass that, while the Missouri House passed a restrictive bill. These acts demean a segment of society and automatically give them criminal status. Are these laws a precursor to eliminating the rights of the gay community? Think about what the elimination of those, think about what the elimination of those rights will mean. No non-description law, no non-description laws for housing, employment, public accommodation, education, banking, and inheritance tax laws. Think of Edie Winter's fight with the IRS to return the inheritance taxes paid because of DOM, the Defense of Marriage Act. Only recognize, because the Defense of, I can't speak today, the Defense of Marriage Act only recognized marriage as between a man and a woman. Medical and legal documents would be refused, and probably a host of others. If those succeed, other anti-gay laws will pass, putting people's lives in medical and financial jeopardy. Families who disagree will swoop in and take charge. It's been done in the past, and courts will ignore the documented desires. Partners thrown out of housing, apartments, inheritances denied, medical and legal powers of attorney stripped. Why this fight? Truth makes some people afraid. Bayard Rustin said, "To be afraid is to behave as if the truth were not true." These are some of the unethical decisions that might take place along with what we thought as settled law. Remember, the Supreme Court's decision eliminated Roe v. Wade. That was unethical. Now, ethics to me, I believe, is integrity, which equals consequences. Our beginning focused not only on platforms, but also on action, which to me seems to be lacking right now, but I could be wrong. It's accountability, knowing that every action has consequences, and learning to listen actively, not thinking about defending a position. Also, ethics is in compassion. Although this presentation is about the chaos directed at the LGBT plus community, a larger audience does exist. It is any group being erased through laws and court decisions, banned books, revisionist history, and hatred. An ethical nature develops when facts challenge beliefs, creating cognitive dissonance, leading to self-reflection, hopefully, questioning, hopefully, and critical thinking, definitely, hopefully. Cognitive dissonance disappears when one asks, is what I'm hearing or seeing the truth? It's the study everything. Where is it? I just lost my place. It's this. It's the study everything. Find something you can use. Idea from one of the Bourne books. It's the can I trust this person or this source? It's a philosophy that all beings deserve dignity and respect, even those with whom you disagree. Studying everything means reading and listening to people whose ideas offend. It's evaluating the truth of what's read and heard. Question: why don't some people believe others deserve dignity and respect? An ethical person said, I do not ask the wounded person how he feels. I become the wounded person. That was Walt Whitman. Ethics means putting yourself in their position, not demeaning others, no name calling, and no slurs. It means accountability, acceptance of wrong done, freedom. I suggest you watch the video with Vince Lombardi refused to let his team sleep in a racist city. I'll come back to that later. One person taking action. What can you do? Backed historically, the creation of ethnic culture came from Felix Adler. Its beginning focused on platforms and action. Examples are the district service, the precursor to the visiting nurse service, the first settlement house, the founding of the workmen's school, later the ethical cultural Fieldstone School, and the first free kindergarten in the United States. It also helped in the co-founding of the NAACP. Social action was a cornerstone of ethical culture. Is this still true? What actions are we taking, both individually and collectively? Think about this from the point of view of a culture. Can I look at it? Does not. However, these categories have been used to deny basic civil rights and can only change when there's an acknowledgement that systems bend when communities refuse to be dismissed. Kansas passed laws denying the rights of transgender people. The major one is accepting not the major one is only accepting birth certificate designations. The law passed and went into effect immediately. This is a quick quote, well, it's not so quick, but it's a quick quote from the 19th century news, 19th news, and it was about the ACLU in 2025. The American Civil Liberties Union, ACLU, is tracking 575 anti-gay state bills so far this year, most of which target transgender people. 105 were failed and 54 passed. Those newly passed bills include restrictions on trans students' abilities to use school restrooms or play school sports, pride flag bans on government property, and gender-affirming care. That article also has, it's a very long article, and it does talk about the attacks on the LGBT community. Each assault strangles dignity and life. It makes people feel inferior. It creates an ethical dilemma. Do all people have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, or just those with whom we agree? It denies people the chance to see themselves. Think of Octavia Butler's sci-fi writing because she didn't see herself. Trans people are one segment of the LGBTQ plus population under attack. Think about other groups that are fighting. The anti-abortion laws foisted upon women, the gutted voters' rights bill targeting black people, who or what is next. This symbolizes the revisionist history being put forth by those who want all to believe slavery was benign. Do you believe it was? Tolstoy said, as we just heard, I sit on a man's back, choking him and making him carry me, and yet assure myself and others that I'm sorry, very sorry for him, and wish to ease his lot by all possible means, of course, except getting off his back. Unethical and represents false compassion. Maya Angelou said an intriguing thing: we allow our ignorance to prevail upon us and make us think we can survive alone, alone in patches, alone in groups, alone in races, even alone in gender. We cannot. Recognize these, recognize even those we disagree with as part of humanity. Compassion and mercy don't mean forgiveness. They signify a connection to the spirits of others. Why don't people change? It's hard to give up beliefs. Learning facts that conflict with beliefs causes a mental firestorm. To abandon facts is to abandon freedom. If nothing is true, then no one can criticize power because there's no basis upon which to do so. If nothing is true, then all is spectacle. And of course, the biggest wallet pays for the most blinding light. The more one has heard things, the harder it is to let go of the beliefs. Has anyone read Project 2025 or the new Save America proposal? I read the first, not the second yet, or not finished the second yet. Protesting ethically. Resist dogma, dog whistles, and propaganda. Invisibility equals denial and non-existence. SAGE, an organization dedicated to the advocacy for LGBTQ plus seniors, mantra is, we refuse to be invisible. How? Read, publicize, and discuss banned books. Even better, collect them. Remember Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451. Investigate proposals, slurs, and dogma. Ask why it's being said. Remember Reagan and his welfare queen. Slur. March if able. Involve yourself with groups dismissed. Speak up. However, do think of your own safety. People must, but does safety really matter in fighting oppression? Yes. However, people must step up, but think of their own safety too. Support libraries and independent bookstores. File lawsuits. Lawyers need to file amicus briefs. Boycott organizations and corporations that reject any marginalized group. It has an economic impact leading to change. Follow the money is always that story. Write reps, senators, governors, newspapers, and anyone else. Take part in postcarding and voter registration. Wear your colors with pride. You are not ordinary. You are awesome. So act like it. These are ways to protect ethically. In individual situations, deny epithets thrown at self or others. Do not stand by when others are insulted. Do not put people into categories. Remember, we are all part of humanity. Label no one. Remember Pelosi's description of he whose name I will not mention when she described him as a two-year-old toddler with a tantrum. She said he acts like one. There's a big difference in using acts like rather than labeling a person as fill in the blank. We are a collective, a mosaic, not a melting pot. Categorizing and name-calling defeats the goal of community. Courage starts with one person who refuses to walk away. The LGBTQ plus community, like other marginalized groups, has always been under attack, and yet resilient. Think of the Stonewall uprising, not riot. Enough for them was enough. For years, certain communities were considered savage or immoral. For the LGBTQ plus community, it was the latter. Yet, this community survived and thrived. Even during the House Un-American Activities Committee's purge, the community persisted. We continue to grow stronger even with this designating homosexuality as a mental disease. Even with the criminalization of same-sex love, we persisted. Pulling back sometimes is necessary for survival. However, retreat does not mean going back into the closet. We will not return to the time when what one wore or who one loved could subject one to the possibility of arrest. That's what this administration wants, annihilation. Like I said, listen to Sage Mantra, we refuse to be invisible. Communities change systems when they refuse to be dismissed. Change starts with one person stepping out. Will that person be you? Yes, we must navigate difficult situations. It requires compassion, reflection, understanding, and critical thinking. Remember, difficult situations always involve people. Act since silence enables wrong. It is complicity. As Audre Lorde said, your silence will not protect you. Sometimes one must fight to protect their freedom. Now is the time. I repeat, now is the time. Courage starts with one person who refuses to walk away. Going back to that Vince Lombardi thing, some of you are football fans, and if so, do you know of the principal stance Vince Lombardi took in relation to all his players? Briefly, the Packers were to play an exhibition game in Columbus, Georgia. White players got accommodations, black players did not. As a darker-skinned Italian growing up in Brooklyn, he understood discrimination. Lombardi called Fort Benning and got accommodations for all the players. This move cost the city money. No public appearances, no players in restaurants. It was both an economic blow and a public relations nightmare. Lombardi's actions denied people the opportunity to interact with the players. It did not change society totally. What he did, I knew that was coming. What he did was let his players know he understood prejudice and intolerance. That's what I would suggest. There's a lot more I could have done. However, the more you write, the more you want to write. Someplace you got to stop.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Lab.
Would you like a glass of water?
No, I'd like a drink.